Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of PK
PK
Talk.
Talk.
I am your host, Ty, and I'm with my wonderful co host, Charmaine. And we have a special guest today, Josh. Now, I know y'all remember when we was talking about how we met and my prom date. Well, my prom date is here today to
He's
share a moment with us. So, y'all give it up for Josh. Thank you for appearing on today's show, Josh. And we're going to start off with our topic today. Go ahead, Charmaine. Introduce us.
Well, our topic today, I know y'all have been waiting for this topic. Boys to Men, it's here.
I mean, not the official group, unfortunately, Boys
No,
to Men.
Josh could be one, yeah.
But yeah,
The
but
ball.
this is the title of our show today. But
We got one that's went from a boy to a man.
well,
So
he would be Mike.
no, he would be
Wyatt.
what he looked like
Let's
one
not
bald head.
compare none of them. Just
the
go ahead and keep moving.
All right. Anyways,
We're not talking about the group, but we are talking about the definition of boys
of
to
Boys
men.
to Men. All right.
Yes.
And we're going to start off with a scripture today before we let Miss Charmaine get to drilling her brother.
No, I'm not drilling him. I'm not. That's you the drill sergeant.
Oh, okay.
So we gonna let you do. I already know everything. So it's
You think you know everything.
okay.
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 All right. Then
we shall see.
Let's get
We got
started.
some hot topics as always. So
Okay. Well, we're going to start with 1 Corinthians 13. This is going to be our scripture for today. And it's verse 11. This is coming from the Amplified.
read.
Read. It says, when I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. That's good. When I became a man, keyword man, I did away with childish things, even though some men still have not
read the scripture.
did away with childish things. But according to the word, he was supposed to. All right, Charmaine, let's get into it. These boys to men.
She's adding right now. We're not supposed to add or take away from the word.
I had already read the scripture.
But they don't know that. They
Well,
don't
then
know.
that's why you're supposed to read for yourself. But go ahead.
Okay, so look. Of course, I did a little homework. We have the first law of reference for boys, or actually is boy. The first time boy was mentioned, or the first law of reference. Of course, I looked it up in the Strongs. It is 3206 in the Strongs, and the actual reference for boy would be Joel 3:3. Now, boys would be Genesis with, boys with an S. Since we're boys to men, I didn't want to harp on just the boy. Boys with an S, with the first law of reference would be Genesis 25:27. Now, I'm not trying to be, super spiritual. However, I think it's always good to have a foundational principle of what boys were. And the first law of reference for that was 5288, and is meaning that it's someone that is born a lad, an offspring. It means fruit. It means son. It means young man. So when you're talking about when I was a child, in reference, it means when I was a boy, when I was young, when I was just an offspring, a lad, as an infant. Boy means infant, in a stage of an infant. What are you laughing at? That's what it means. So I wanted to just give just a little, definition of that. And in Genesis 4:1 is actually when the first boy Cain, and I don't mean from Minister Society, but Cain was the first boy child that was born from Adam and Eve. And it says that she knew her husband Adam, and they bared Cain. And then they bared another one, and that was Abel. I just wanted to point that out. Go ahead. Let's ask some questions. Let's get into it. This is my brother. We are not twins.
By no means.
By no means
But
are
they
we
do
twins.
look alike.
And I am the oldest.
Yes, you are. You are the oldest. Thank you for sharing that. You felt the need to let
I
everyone
mean, because
know.
people always ask, they always think that you're the older one.
Well, I think that could just be, I don't want to say the scripture that she just read about being mature.
All right, they about to start sibling rivalry. All right, let's get down to. We had them on here to ask a couple of questions.
Yes, let's ask some
all
questions.
right, Josh. So my question would be: I know we had like different experiences growing up as PKs. So tell us about your experience as a PK growing up.
It was, how can I say? I couldn't say it was different because we didn't know any difference. We were always in the house. We were sheltered. We were, how can you say? I would say our parents are very strict in a sense of what we did and who we hang around and whose house we can go over. Could we spend the night over so-and-so house? No.
They stayed the night with us, though.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
could stay the night with us, but we couldn't spend a night over anyone's house. So that's to start off with. But yeah, we were always in church. And I do remember playing church in Decatur. Yeah. So that was the first reference. So all I can remember as a child was just going to church. My first reference. My first memory is literally being in probably there's a temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a child.
In Decatur, Georgia, as a child.
Okay.
And that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Because it was all you knew. It wasn't like, and I think that when we say sheltered, it wasn't that we didn't do anything, but I think that there was just a level of protection. We may have felt like it was sheltered in hindsight, but I think it was a level of protection because we had birthday parties. We always had. Well, of course, we always had people that stayed there.
People always stay with us.
People always was there. So, we played. We had a lot of fun. We had a basement. We skated. We
learned how to skate in our own house.
Yeah, we had a basement that we skated.
Had a hardwood floor. A hard floor.
Okay.
A cement floor. Yeah. We what else? We played pinch and. We had a lot. I mean, I
know,
think we
like
had
you're
a
not
fun.
saying shelter, like you didn't get to do anything, but
we
it's
got
just
to
like
do things.
different from like being like worldly things. I mean, as opposed to like 'cause we did the same thing, but it was still certain things you couldn't do because you were in church. But as far as like your regular activities growing up as a child, yes, we still got to do those things.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in private school
For a long time.
Yeah.
we were in private school, and I think private school we had friends. Most of the kids went to the church. I think that they came over our house. The kids,
but the teachers are different from being in
Yes.
public school and being in a private school.
This is true.
It's a totally different
It's a
environment.
biblical base.
Yeah, and so it's not going to be the same. Even when you go hang out with your friends, you still have two different like conversations and mindsets. Like when you would play with your friends on the street that wasn't in Christian school. But that's where most of the time I met my friends was in the neighborhood. So, but so you said just all you remember is going to church. So do you feel like, I know sometimes we say when we go to church a lot and we grow up and we get on our own and we're able to do what we want to do. Do you think that maybe did that influence you to not go to church, or did you continue to still go to church as much?
I would say it influenced me to go. Yeah, definitely to go. If you were brought up a certain way and all you know is this, in a sense, it's almost like you're trained. You know what I'm saying? Your second thought is, where am I supposed to be Sunday morning?
Yeah.
In church.
You know,
Or
And,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
yeah.
Friday, Saturday. Saturday.
Yeah, the Sunday morning was a routine, especially with my dad, because he's Marine, as he said,
Mhm.
once Marine, always Marine. So the timely thing,
Yeah. Oh, we had to. If you was, what is it?
if you not 10 minutes
10 minutes
early, you late.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the military. And then also, Daddy drove the church van.
Ran. So we even had to leave earlier
Yeah, because he had to pick up everybody
from College Park.
from the neighborhood. And, yeah.
Yeah. So imagine waking up on a Sunday morning and you think regular 10 o'clock service.
We
Yeah,
already
and
up
then you
'cause
got
we had to
Sunday school.
Yeah. Oh,
we-
yeah.
We had Sunday
yeah,
school. We had
so
to be
we had to wake up.
early.
I had to wake up a little bit earlier than she did. So I had to wake up at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning just so we can get in the van to go all the way to the ghetto to pick up the ghetto kids.
Why you gotta say ghetto? It was
College Park,
it
the
was,
hood.
It was the less fortunate.
We were going to the hood to pick
It's-
up the hood kids.
Everybody needs Jesus.
Everybody.
Everybody needs.
Decatur wasn't quite Decatur.
Decatur wears greater.
She getting defensive over here. Okay.
It wasn't Decatur that we know now, although they're gentrified.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
gentrifying.
But yeah,
like they are.
but
now.
yeah, it
I got
wasn't.
robbed in Decatur twice. That is the ghetto in the hood. But go ahead.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's,
I got robbed twice in
Where were you
Decatur.
at?
At the mall.
Uh, South
which
DeKalb?
one?
I don't know which one of them, but I
South
went
DeKalb
there
Mall?
twice and got robbed twice. But anyway,
Greenbrier?
It might have been.
moving along.
We're not. Listen, we ATLians, so we're not. Don't do that. Don't do too. Not
Anyways,
too much. Not too
Charmaine,
much on the ATL.
do you got any questions for your brother before I keep going?
Well, I think that I would say, if I don't know if it really is a question, but well, I guess it could be a question. What made what drew you to the drums? Because he started playing drums in church.
Mhm.
So what was that?
So my first love of music, I would say that would come from my dad. He introduced us to music.
He did. I said
Regardless if it was gospel music or not, but he introduced us to music. So, for whatever reason, we were again at Bethesda Temple, and I think they had a woman drummer, and I don't know, something about the beat, the bass drum that she was kicking. I'm just like, I was drawn into it, and I'm just like, I want to do that.
Mm.
And so I started beating on pots and pans, and it drove everybody crazy.
It did. It did. I'm glad you pointed that out. But I think that was one of those gifts that it wasn't, and I think that's an important factor to mention, that whatever gift that we had, our parents didn't discount it. So it didn't say stop that beat. It was I don't know if it was encouraging, but they didn't discount it. Like.
Yeah, they didn't encourage me because they didn't buy me no drums.
No, they didn't. But I'm saying they didn't discourage you.
No, they didn't discourage me.
To say don't play the drums, or you can't play the drums, or you're not good at that. So
I didn't pick up the drums until
we got to Texas.
Way down the line.
We was in Texas, and we were at Trinity.
I had to be 14 maybe when
13,
I first started
yeah.
playing the drums for real.
Yeah.
So that was a long time.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was something. It was a seed that was sown. I'm glad you that together like that. It was a seed that was sown, and one thing about seeds, that when they're sown, it just means that they're planted. It doesn't mean that
they grown.
Come on, Jesus!
She done said something. Look at her.
Lord.
That was good. So, I just wanted to point that out, because at an early age, I too, when we were kids, I used to play with dolls, and I was like, I would always want dolls with hair. And I remember
this is
saying,
about Josh.
I know that, but I'm just
That's
saying.
fine.
I mean, that's still our story.
No,
but yeah.
I'm just saying, the point is, it wasn't discouraged. Some of the gifts that were planted in us wasn't discouraged. That was the
Me and
point.
Charmaine got plenty of time to tell our story.
Yeah,
We gonna talk. Go ahead.
take it. Ty, what's
Next
the next
question.
question?
All right.
Next
Next. All right, Josh. So I'm gonna ask. So, do you feel there was anything that you wasn't taught as a young man living in a, if I would say, PK home that you felt that you should have been taught once you got out there?
My dad wasn't really a sports person, so I wanted to play sports and I like sports, but he wasn't going to be encouraging me to play sports. So I do remember that as a child. I'm like, you know what? I can't ever remember him throwing me a football or, you know,
Right.
taking me to the basketball court and we gonna play basketball or whatever. So I do remember the sports part of something that I wanted to definitely do, which I didn't get from him. We got teaching and learning and how to speak. That's what we got from my dad. But as far as me being able to play sports and that type of thing, yeah, that wasn't it.
Do you feel like he was, I know sometimes as sons, you want certain things from your father as far as time with them ministering. Do you felt that you had that balance with you and your dad, even though sports wasn't one of the things that y'all got to do, but like other things, do you feel there was a balance there?
Yeah, a balance, because my dad, regardless if he was in front of the congregation or if he was in front of us, he's always talking to us and always teaching. It was like to a point where we would just sit in the car and look like before school and just like, Daddy, can we get out the car? The bell done rung.
Another lecture.
Now, Dr.
lectures.
Charles Kent, I've learned
There's-
he
there-
does.
I mean,
He loves
It's a lecture.
to
he's
teach.
going to teach. So it doesn't matter if it's one
We
or
didn't
two.
think it was teaching at the
And-
time.
and so
we thought
we
it
would-
was lectures.
We would literally be sitting in front of Bowie High,
Yes.
you know,
Any
and the
place.
bell would ring,
And
and
he's
he
still
still would be
talking.
talking.
He's
And
still
we'd be like,
talking.
the bell rung. It's time for us. That was just the first bell.
Oh, he knew which bells.
Yeah, he knew.
Yeah, he knew which bell.
Yeah, he knew because he wanted us to be early.
Okay.
He still, you know, the timely thing, that was huge.
So he got y'all there in time enough to talk to y'all through the first bell.
He liked to sit and talk.
Yeah, so
No,
So-
not like.
I said likes.
Oh, likes, okay.
It's a continue. It's
but
still
it, but
present.
it, but it
It's
was
present.
that was something that he always did, and then I had to look at it from a point that other kids wasn't getting that.
That's good.
You know, a lot of kids didn't get that. A lot of kids didn't have their dad dropping them off. You know, it's their mama. You know, they don't even know their daddy. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good.
So it was funny because a lot of kids were saying that we had an abnormal house because we did have our dad in the house. I don't know if you got that.
Mm.
In some cases, like they were like, "Yo, daddy actually live here?"
Oh no. No, most of my friends had that.
Okay, well, not all mine, but it was to a point where they were looking like, "Yo, your daddy actually stay here?" Yes, that's your
yes.
real daddy.
So your situation was like abnormal to have the parent, and that was normal for them not to. Wow,
Yeah,
that's deep.
Well,
Yeah.
he had a lot of male friends. So just think from the male perspective, if their parent, father is absent and he's a male that has a father, it might have been abnormal.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's deep though. That a lot of the people that you hung out with felt that was abnormal to have a man in the house.
well, they didn't necessarily.
Well, no,
change
not
that.
abnormal. I know
Not
what you mean.
abnormal,
I
but
know,
just
yeah,
just
I know
saying
what you
that.
mean.
Yeah, your
It's not like common.
your real dad,
Yeah.
your actual real dad actually stays.
Because
Yeah, so-
sometimes they had stepdads and
yeah,
and then some of the guys when they came over to the house, Josh's friends, it was what would you say? What they would call-
your daddy mean.
What?
I mean,
Daddy looked mean though. He has a stern look. He
You know
has a
what?
stern
That's
look.
that military.
And Josh looked the same way.
it's
does.
it is.
they say
We
I
call
look-
it a Kent trait.
They
and
say
so-
we look mean.
And so the thing is with us, and for the most part, until you hear us talk,
Mm-hmm.
we look mean.
I don't that people say that.
I mean, you look mean, but I never. Maybe because I'm mean. That maybe that. Well, I look
Oh,
mean.
you know you mean?
Well, I mean, I look mean.
You just said you was mean.
Well, I can be mean.
Okay.
I can definitely be mean.
You're being delivered.
I'm being delivered. But I guess I never took it that way that y'all were very mean. Maybe because I was already standoffish, but I never got that from you.
Here you can say, I'm not a mean person. How I look is more of a defense mechanism. But just like they look at my dad, they would come in, they just like, your daddy look mean, like he'll knock somebody out. And I'm like, no, my daddy's actually kind of peaceful. You know what I'm saying? He'd be in his own world and in his books or whatever. He's actually peaceful. But he is from the south side of Chicago. He did grow up with a bunch of brothers, and they always fought.
They
still fight.
Bless the Lord.
Jesus,
They need
my
it.
crazy uncles.
They need deliverance.
Yes, but it's just a look. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But when they came over, they were just like, is he going? Yeah, he cool. He'll say hello. Hey, how y'all doing? And once they hear him speak, they're like, well, he sound, how can I say?
Cordial?
Proper?
Yeah.
Yeah, proper.
Yeah,
That's the
they
word.
say
Proper? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does have that. But I would just ask, since you did have your father in the house with you, what is the key points that you feel that you learned from your father that applies now to you being a father?
That's a good question, Tom.
That is a good question.
That was good.
I ask good questions.
I didn't know. I didn't say you didn't. I just said that was good.
This is our love, y'all. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh.
I would say the discipline, because granted, my kids didn't necessarily grow up in the house with me, but they were always around me. And so it was the discipline and instilling into them certain things. And, they like, look, this is how this should go. This is how you should be. This is how you should carry yourself. Look, are you mad at this for this? Are you this and it? Teaching the girls, look, you say you want to be a queen. You got to act like a queen. Queens don't sweat peasants. And so I said that, and Jay Leah is the one that really had to stick with it. Because when she was little, she was feisty and angry. Like, Jay Leah, why are you so mad? Like, I just want to knock them. I just want to hit them. They driving me crazy. I'm like, you letting them drive you crazy. So I had to instill that. And I'm like, if you are a queen, are you a queen? And so when you ask that question, yes, I'm a queen. I'm a queen. Okay, well, the queens ain't sweating the peasants. Are you a queen or are you a peasant? And so, I had to instill that with my son. He was a little bit more hard, but, had to talk to him about, hey, sit down. Look, when it comes to people talking to you, yes, sir, you need to speak clearly. When you getting stopped by the police, I had to instill that in him. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't want to instill that, but,
Right.
I had to have a talk.
He's a young black man.
As a young black man, you getting pulled over by the police, keep your hands on that steering wheel. Yes, sir, speak clearly and not in an aggressive way to say, yeah, I don't want,
Right.
yeah. No, speak clearly, look into my eye. Hey, yes, sir. No, sir. That type of thing. So my dad instilled that discipline in me at an early age. My funny story with him, when I was being rebellious,
In what way, Josh, were you being rebellious?
I went to the mall and I stole something,
Oh,
no.
yeah, I remember
and
that.
I got caught.
He wasn't a very good thief.
Yeah, it was one of them trap Walkmans, and so y'all know I'm into music. So I wanted a Walkman, and it was a new one. It was good.
It was a tape
It was-
player.
yeah.
It was a cassette. It was
Yeah.
a cassette Walkman.
And so I'm like, it was just right there, no wires attached, and I'm just, oh.
He got,
By the time I got to the thing, sir, what?
Oh, man.
Daddy had to come off of work.
No,
He
this
wasn't
was
at
the
work?
bad part. He was at work.
was at work,
He
right?
was at work.
Yeah.
So it was at Sears in the Parks
In the
Mall.
Parks
I remember
Mall.
seeing
Yeah.
a long time ago, yeah.
So I went and got the Walkman. They got me, and they were like, "Look, if you can't call one of your parents to come get you, I'm like, are we taking you to, juvenile? I'm like, look, he's right across the street. He's at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where you want us to take us to? Yeah. So they took me in the car. It wasn't, it was barely in front of them all.
Yeah.
So he pulls up, he sees me, and I get out the car, and he just like, so he whooped me.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the parking lot?
No, he whooped me in the stove.
Oh.
He whooped me in the stove, and it was like, it didn't hurt. It was like, it was one of those moments of like, okay, I'm too old to be getting whooped. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You really are.
So he whooped me in the stove and everything like that, and I'm just like, oh, if that's all it is, I'm good. So we get home, and we pull up to the parking lot or whatever. He mad as all get out. So we get up, and so he stops. And as soon as he stops, he turns around and poof, I flew.
Oh, wow.
I flew. And I fell. And I was like, well, there it is. That was the last time that he had to put his
He
hands
had
on
to
me.
be like a man, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That was transition from boys
to a man. Yes. So,
you think you man enough to steal?
That transition right there. I know that's right.
Yeah, so that was a moment.
Good.
And I'm like, yeah, he ain't gonna never have to put his hands on me no more. That was
you didn't
it.
steal no more either.
It didn't steal no more.
No.
After that I learned my lesson.
See?
But
That
that was a transitional moment. There was some other things that I might have done that nobody else knew, but he got me on that one.
Oh, that's good. I remember that.
Yeah. And so my dad has this thing.
Yeah.
Whenever one of us do something
he
wrong,
something to the opposite.
he says something to the other person. I don't know if your dad did that.
Yeah.
So if I got in trouble, he would go to Shemaine.
And say something to me.
And so Shemaine, out of line, he would come to me, and I'm like,
Right.
why are you
I
talking
don't
to me?
know what
She
that
did
was
it.
Exactly.
So, he would go to her and say, did you know your brother did this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you talking to her about it?
Yeah.
She don't need to know. She good.
I don't know why he did that, but I'm assuming it was because he was trying to
Fish.
see if I
You
had
already
something going
knew.
on. No, if I had something, if he was talking about Josh, like with the whole
Right, but did you
he
already
was having-
know?
No, not that I know, but I'm saying, was I doing it myself?
Oh, okay.
As in, Josh, did you know your brother ain't got this girl pregnant? You over here
Oh, so that's where we going.
I'm just saying, I talked about that on the other show. It's not like this. That's not a secret. Everybody already knows that. But I'm saying to see if I was,
Gina's mind is going, choo, choo, choo,
no,
choo.
I think that's what that was. I'm assuming. When we have him on the show, we'll ask him.
Okay,
we'll ask him.
We asked
But
him.
I do want to point out, it's so funny that God is just so good.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
I just want to point out the reference of boys. I came up with Esau and Jacob when they were twins. Twin, where have you been? Nobody. Okay, anyway. Jacob and Esau were twins. Okay, they were brothers. And they used that as a reference in one of my scriptures for boys. And it was saying that Esau was a skillful hunter and he was an outsider or a man of the field. And Jacob was a mild man and he was peaceable and he stayed home a lot and he was a homebody. So the difference of the contrast between the twins, I just think that's a good reference, as in, even though we were connected in the same womb, we're still different. I mean, I'm not gonna go into the birthright part, but the fact that one was, as a boy, he had a skill in one area, and the other one was more mild or peaceable, even though Jacob ended up being a trickster. And
You mean, so I'm the peaceable one
Yes,
and you
you
were
are.
the loud. And,
But we're not twins. We're
No,
not
we're
twins.
not twins, but-
This is about boys to men.
but at the same time,
This is about boys to men.
but you know, are the loud and
I'm not loud. I'm boisterous. It's boisterous.
what does boisterous mean? Okay.
Loud.
It is- I'm
The story between
outspoken.
the story
I could
between
say.
me and Shemaine is
What story?
we're kind of the same person in a sense, but when she walks in a room, you gonna know she walks in a room. I may walk in a room and you be like, I didn't know you was here. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know. I don't.
She's gonna make her. He's saying that you're gonna make yourself seen.
No, I'm not making myself sing.
You don't have to make
I'm
yourself
not
seen.
making myself
They gonna
seen.
know you there.
I would agree with that.
Thank you.
I would agree with that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the reference. The reference was.
We ain't talking about the reference. We understand.
Yeah. The reference.
The reference was about
We go back and forth.
about being one being in one area or being one type and another one.
Well, let
being
me
another
ask
type.
you this, Charmaine, since y'all are siblings. So,
Oh, Lord, here we
as
go.
far as like, you know, y'all seem pretty close. What can you say that you admire about Josh as far as seeing him grow up from a boy to a man? What are some things that you say that
Yeah, Shemaine.
That you
yeah,
admire
tell
about your
me
brother.
what you admire.
I have nothing. Oh my goodness. No, I think that Josh is a cool dude. You know, as he got older, he got lame to me. So
Lame.
yeah, you kind of lame especially when you got anyway. Yeah, you got a little lame.
So those
But
like
he's
That's a sister saying.
he's
okay,
a good,
yeah,
no, he's a
whatever.
good dude. He's a good dude.
what
And,
makes him a good dude?
he's
Give me some characteristics.
quiet, but he's talkative. He's as in like now his temperament is of a quiet, but if he's comfortable with you, then you'll know his thought process. You know what he's thinking.
Okay, let's go. So if you had to sell him to a woman, like as a wife.
Sale.
Sell.
Sale.
Well, you know, most time you have a sales pitch.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
We get what
Yeah,
you're
okay.
Go
So
ahead.
what would
What
be
you're
your
saying.
sales pitch? Because, I mean, not thinking as, like, even though you is his sister, but just thinking as a woman and what characteristics of him as a man do you see? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, well, I mean, he's a hard worker and he takes care of his family, but that's the same thing my daddy did. So, you know, a lot of that you would say the characteristics he was taught by my daddy is I think the same that he does for himself, you know. He works hard. He's gonna work, which he has to because he has children. But
He don't have to, but he
well,
does.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm saying he works. He's a hard worker.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a
appreciate
compliment.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That is a compliment. He's a hard worker. He always, he makes sure that he's taken care of. He's independent, and he dresses nice. We both kind
Oh
of
my
dress nice.
gosh.
He's clean cut. He's a nice, good, clean cut, bald headed.
I used to have hair.
He used to have hair. Thank God.
He did.
He did.
You remember that?
He had long hair. And I'm so
He used to
glad.
get braids all the time.
Yeah. And that's why his hair fell out. But
Oh, well, okay.
the hairstylist,
You know, she's gonna bring this up. Go
well,
ahead.
I mean, he over here going, see, this is when Josh was thinking he was all that and he was doing his little la-di-da thing. And he was getting his hair braided by this girl. And the girl that was braiding his hair would put a relaxer on his hair and then braid his hair.
Oh.
Because his hair was so thick and wide, just wiry. And so next thing you know, his edge up is going back like Stevie Wonder's. And
And she didn't tell you,
The product of that. Well, by that time it was too late because he didn't ask me. I don't know why you didn't ask me. Why you didn't ask me?
He might still have some hair today.
What it was is I would go in and my hair was, super thick. You
Yeah.
remember? So she would get the hot comb and press my hair down
And it still was
before she would braid it.
Okay.
And so she would braid it then. And so I'm like, ooh, my hair down to here. You know what I'm saying? When she did it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I go to the club. By the time I get out the club, my hair back up to here.
the shrinkage.
I'm like, how can I get my hair? So she was like, well, if you did a perm, whatever. And I'm like, that would hold it. She said, yeah, your hair will stay that way. And so I'm like, okay, cool.
I didn't
consult with her.
Well, you got a scissor at the house.
And so then the girl stopped doing hair. And so all of a sudden my hair is perm now. So I started going to my sister. Shemaine would do my hair. And I would walk into work. I never wore it down like Berdine from Earth, Wind, and Fire. But I would have it, done. And so the women in my, come here. And I'm going like, yes. Who do your hair? I need whatever. I'm like, wow, is that serious?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Then
after that, it started thinning, and I'm just like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. And so I cut it down.
Cut it.
And then it got down to the low. So I was getting fades, two times a week.
Yeah, his hair was.
And my barber was like, look, I'm gonna keep taking your money. She said, but you might want to go ahead and put a blade to your head and go ahead and bald it. And so
because the follicles have been stretched from the relaxer.
Okay, thank you. Whatever
But
the technical
anyway,
term.
But okay, Ty, what other questions that you have for Josh?
Because I know her mind is wondering
No.
now.
I was just thinking. So when she mentioned about the baby, now
I knew that was coming.
yeah. So I guess I'm gonna do it two questions. So one is the point of we was talking about the chosen one on one of our other previous episodes. So no, make it three. Okay. So one is, do you feel like every PK was chosen or is chosen? And then two, part of the chosen ones is about the mantle. So two is, why did you not pick up the mantle of starting to teach or preach in the church? And then three, we're going to go back to with you growing up. Now, even though we've done it, but in your perspective, why do you feel that you stepped out and got a baby out of wedlock? Got a baby out of wedlock being raised in church.
Okay. One, to start off with, I guess I'll deal with the mantle part first. So the mantle part, I definitely ran away from that because I get tired. Young kid, that's the new pastor. That's going on. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. So it was always said, oh, Josh's going to be this. He's going to be he's going to take the step in line. And he's going to be, that's young kid. Like, so I couldn't escape that. And then, of course, us always being in church, they're going to, you're next. And so that was a big thing. And that's not something that I wanted to do. I didn't feel being comfortable. Although I didn't mind speaking, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. I liked more behind the scenes and, of course, playing the drums or whatever. I liked that part. Okay. But as far as me being out front speaking, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. As far as the chosen part, I do feel like because of our family, we are chosen. There is no way that we can escape who we are because we are natural counselors. Shemaine does hair, so she's counseling people all the time, even if she's not trying. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm talking to people, even if I'm not trying to counsel somebody, which people just naturally are drawn to me and talk to me, I'm counseling. You know what I'm saying? So that part about our family is still there, even if I'm not in church or I'm not in front of a pulpit speaking to someone. That part of us is going to always shine. It's going to come out. We can't hide that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I try to sometimes. It's like I'm sitting there like, I want to be quiet. I don't want to talk, but they're speaking and peeling their heart out to me. And I'm just like, if I don't say something, they may do something crazy. How can I say this? One of my friends said that, you stopped me from getting suicide. I said, when? When we was in school. I said, I had to be, 14, 15? Yes. So what at 15 or 14-year-old can say to someone to stop them from committing suicide?
Right. You don't even.
You know what I'm saying? So
Impact.
you have no idea. So that part about us is still the same. As far as the out of wedlock thing,
Yeah.
yeah. So, so I would say in our house, they told us about sex,
What?
but they didn't talk to us.
No, they didn't tell us about sex.
They
They
did.
told you about sex.
They had the conversation.
It was fornication.
Well, okay, whatever. They had the birds and the bees conversation with us when we were off Park Road.
What was the conversation?
Yeah, the conversation was mama set us down and hey, this and this and this. Yes.
I don't
The
remember.
birds and the bees.
I wasn't there. That was for you.
You
No.
missed that conversation,
I
No,
Charmaine?
she
that
was
one.
there. She was there.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flower
Really?
and the tree. Okay.
But they had the conversation, but you could tell somebody about the birds and the bees and how life is whatever.
Procreation.
But as far as a relationship,
right.
you're
true.
not telling us. My mama always told us, and it ruined us
It did.
in a sense.
It did.
Anybody that you date
I told you.
could be somebody that you could potentially marry.
I told you.
And so I'm like, Mama, I'm 11 or 12 years old.
It's
Why are you telling me
unfortunate.
this?
Yeah.
So in a sense, it kind of stopped us from trying to date anybody because we thinking like, if I date this person, I'm probably going to end up marrying them.
That's the stupidest thing.
It's crazy.
No, because some people do end
but-
up
but I'm
marrying
just
their
saying.
little
Right.
they
You
do.
don't want to talk to nobody because I want to marry you. I want to talk to
I mean,
you.
you
So-
don't know what that means. You don't
Like,
really know
we
the
don't
full
understand.
understanding
Right.
At that age, there was no way that we could comprehend that.
at all.
So as I got older, I was very, very shy. So I didn't know how to talk to women. I didn't know if a woman liked me. I didn't know if, girls like me or whatever. So they coming on to me and I have no idea. I'm clueless. I'm just like, whatever. So I didn't understand women until I started getting older. You know what I'm saying? And even then, I still didn't quite understand. So I met a older, more mature.
An older woman.
She
Yeah.
wasn't but
I
2
know,
years
I
older than
know,
me.
I know.
Anyways,
She was older still. She was
but
more
she was
mature.
older. She was very more
She was
mature.
more mature.
So I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is new. So in a sense, I was sprung. You know, you know what they say. You get with an older man, he know what he doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you get with an older woman, she know what she doing. She done
She grooming.
She done turned you out.
turned me out, basically. I told her that and she laughed. She was like, I did what? I said, yes. I said, I was sprung. I didn't know what to do. And she was like, for real? I said, yeah.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
And had the conversation been
So-
had.
So had the conversation been had,
Maybe.
I might have been able to understand and been a little bit more
That's good.
responsible
Balance that.
and being able to balance and being able to understand like, no, you're not sprung. You know, this ain't what you're supposed to be doing.
Soul
You just,
ties.
whatever the case
We
may
didn't talk
be.
about
Right.
that.
So that's how, I came up and was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, this the first real woman or whatever that I had. And
She wasn't your first.
she wasn't my first, no, but real.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying she wasn't
So,
yours.
my staying out later, I'm like, hey, I'm staying out a little later. Huh?
He thought he was grown.
I mean, hey,
Himself.
I was
Start smelling
out
itself.
of high school, so I'm like, hey, whatever. So, it came to a point and my mama was just like, she noticed the difference. She was the only one. She noticed the difference. So I said, Mama, I need to talk to you. What, she pregnant? Oh, jeez. Well, good that you know. And I'm like, yeah. So you gonna tell Daddy? No, you can tell him. but the funny part is I was still playing the drums.
Mm.
And so after that, I was just like, yeah, I can't be doing this. And so I took myself off the drums.
Early
you know.
conviction. See, that's when you train. That goes back to
Train up a
our
child.
foundational scripture. Train up a child in the way that he should go.
Mhm.
And when he is old, he is mature, is another word, another translation. When he's mature, he is not going to depart from it. And even with what you're saying, going back to the chosen, even though you didn't pick up or take on the mantle of preaching, what happened? Your offspring,
Yeah.
his son.
Mm.
Who would of all people that I would
He's at his. I'm ministering this morning, and he's there. He's you know, if he let me know in time, I'll try to make it too.
Well,
But
it was
but I'm saying he picked it up.
transferred. Yeah.
So
Tell us
even
about that.
Well, I mean, it was like to the point where I introduced music to them, and granted, I played everything for them. I didn't just play gospel for them. I played them everything because I didn't want them to grow up like I did, was totally clueless and had to go back and research,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so after a point, Elijah started picking up stuff on his own, and he all of a sudden started going to preach. And I'm like, "You doing what?" And so he's like, "Yeah, I'm ministering this morning." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll be there." And so,
But no, it was said to him, it was said to his son, "You're gonna be a preacher."
Mm.
When he was a
Young man.
yes, coming up, it was the same thing. So he actually took to that versus the rebellious here.
call me what you want.
Well, I'm just saying you didn't want to do it because they. And that may be a thing too. Sometimes people push things on you that they see, but because of you not understanding or fear of things, you reject it.
That was one of my questions. Like, do you feel like you were pressured, and that is what maybe steered you away from?
No,
wanting to
it wasn't necessarily pressure. Again, it was all me. You know, it wasn't any pressure. It's just like they say, preachers' kids are the worst, and that was something that I was self-conscious of always. Even when I was clubbing, I wasn't out there drunk, like acting a fool, you know, whatever. You know, I never was that. I was always conscious still, like, even though I'm in the club,
still
I don't
doing
want to
it
be
decent.
like, you know, oh yeah, he's wild and he's
Over the
acting a
board.
fool and he crazy and this, you know, I never wanted that. If even when I did drink, it was always to the point I'm like, well, we're gonna take a picture. I'm like, move this picture. I don't want even people to think, oh, he's always drinking or he's this and this and this and that. I was always self-conscious of that. Me being in clubs and everybody is smoking or being
It's
in
the air
parties.
quotes for me, Josh. It's the
I
air,
speak with my hands. Thank you.
it's the air quotes. It's the air quotes for me.
She over here,
She
over here
looking like-
watching.
I speak with my hands.
We're listening to him.
But yeah,
air quotes.
I would be the only
It's
one.
the air quotes for me.
I was around smokers, and I would be the only one in the room that's not smoking. And to this day, I've still never even smoked a cigarette. People don't believe it. They say, "I know you've been high. I know you high." And this and that. Never have.
You been selective in your sin.
What are you trying to say?
You was doing this, but you was still selective. Like, you know, I was fornicating, but I wasn't smoking.
I mean,
I was fornicating, but I wasn't
I'm just
drinking.
saying
Oh my
certain
God.
things, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you can be selective harlot, you know.
Harlot.
I mean, yeah.
She trying to say you was a girl.
No, not you. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, you know, how you can have, like, you know, even if you step out. I mean, that just goes to us in general. If you step out, you still that mindset is still there.
Conviction.
That conviction.
The conviction with me again, like I say, I took myself out the drums, and it was something that was hard because I love music, and it's something that I did like doing, but it was to the point I'm like, I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing right now. So if I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna take myself off.
And that's
my
wisdom.
mom looked at me and she was just like,
That's
okay,
wisdom.
That's
and she had to
maturity,
That's
accept
maturity.
it.
That's a man move. That's a man move.
As much as I loved it, you know what I'm saying, and it was a need for it at that too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, as coming from a helping family, we spring into action. If something needs to be done, we're going to spring into action and we're going to do it. But I'm just like, no, I can't do it. I ain't right. You know, and she was just like, she said, I can sense it, you know, and so she would say it. She like, yeah.
She's always.
My mom always said it.
I know, Sister Corey.
Now, I just want to say this because we're running out of time. What would be something, an application that you can give, because we're running out of time, give to a boy to give him some encouragement to become a man? And, you know, even in your own upbringing as a PK, but if not even a PK, but just the men or young boys that could be watching, give them a takeaway statement, a boys to men statement that you would.
How to transition.
I would say learn to stand on your own. If you have your own thought process, keep your own thought process. Don't give in to peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at it as like, oh, I got to be part of the crowd or whatever the case may be. And again, I hung around a lot of, how can you say,
people that
roguish,
they did a lot.
thuggish
They did a lot.
people or whatever the case may be.
You had good friends. We had we had all types of friends.
I had
Did
all
you finish
kinds of
your
friends.
thought?
But again, my whole thought process is don't give in to the peer pressure. Think for yourself. If you think it's wrong, it might be wrong. If you're thinking that this ain't right, it might not be right. Think for yourself. If you can think for yourself and don't give in to peer pressure, that will be the best thing that can help you say, because it might be a time where you like, I don't want to get in that car. Like Trey from Boys in the Hood, let me out the car. Yeah, it might be a let you out the car moment.
That is
the realest moment in the movie, because Doughboy understood.
He said,
hey,
you ain't need to be there.
You ain't need to be in the car anyway.
That's right.
Why were you in the car in the first place? I was letting you roll because I understood we were both angry, but no, this ain't you.
This ain't for you.
And so I had a lot of that in school because I was around the trouble, but they kept me away from it.
Yeah.
You know, you can ask Jason and Lamont.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
no,
This ain't for you.
This ain't for you. They kept me out of trouble. In a sense, me and my sister both had guardian angels.
We did.
She had Shanae and I had Jason and Lamont. And they were, how can I say, thuggish, ruggish type of people. So people didn't bother us because they were our friends.
Right.
And so that was real. And yeah.
Yeah.
Although we still got
in trouble. On our own.
Yeah. The first party, which I know we ain't talking about.
We're not doing that. It's just about you, Boys to Men. So
no, but listen. 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 My senses, my discernment and my senses are very strong, just like hers. And so we go to our first party that our parents actually let us go to. And
you
I'm
mean
like,
our first party together, because you were going to parties.
Oh, yeah, I was sneaking out going to parties, but this is before her.
Yeah. He was sneaking out going to parties.
Yeah, but I knew how to carry myself, and I could get away with that.
Right, you did.
And
I didn't tell on you.
And so, anyways, we go in, and I'm like, the party was over with, and I'm like, Shireen, it's time to go. And she said it out her mouth. What, you think something gonna happen? And I'm like, my senses is kicking in. I'm like, look, the party ended peacefully. Let's leave peacefully. 30 seconds later.
What happened?
Oh, wow. Oh, that's that night. Oh,
yes.
You was there.
Yes.
I'm watching the whole thing.
We rode together.
Oh.
That was the only way we could go. We were together.
Okay.
We rode together.
Yeah, high school.
And I asked my parents, and they actually let
They let us go.
Okay.
And so, I'm looking at her. I'm like, I didn't even know she was shot. So she comes running towards me because she went. She didn't even hit the ground. She just
down. I just kind of went like you kind of get, but I
staggered.
didn't fall.
And she came to me and she's like, I'm shot, and the rest is a whole nother story.
Thank
She
God.
is here
but again,
today.
My sisters told her it's time to go.
It's time to go.
And she
didn't listen.
No, there's more to the story, but we were leaving. I was trying to get everybody we came with. We was supposed to leave together.
They wasn't in the car with us.
That's all it was.
Well, it's been a pleasure,
I'll be back because we need to talk about the music thing.
Okay. So we're gonna have Josh.
How you gonna invite yourself back to our show?
Because
you too.
it's PK Talk.
You too.
I know the PK ain't just for Preacher's Kid.
No, it's not.
It's for Paige and Kent.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'll be telling our business. Okay. Well, we appreciate Josh for coming on today and
Yes.
sharing some insight on what it is from going from a boy to a man. So we appreciate the advice that you gave to the young men and to the older men that are out there. So we definitely appreciate you coming on. We want to have our final thoughts. Charmaine, go ahead.
Make sure that you check out all our other episodes and subscribe, like and subscribe.
Tell everybody.
Tell a friend. I do want to do an incentive, but we're still working on that. So we're trying to get 100 subscribers, and so if you tell a friend, we're trying to figure out a way to do that. Gmail, if you want to contact.
PK2024@gmail.com.
Facebook, PK Talk. Go on there and follow us. Share it. Send these out. Share these with people. It's nothing but a simple press of a button to pass the word along and ask other people to subscribe. So that's really our motivation. And I appreciate my brother coming on and telling, just a little bit of his story. I can tell his business anyway, but it's nothing like hearing it from the horse's mouth. So
Right.
I want just to say, we, as always here, we're going to be transparent. We're going to give you word. We're going to give you application and real life stories. So I would say keep the faith, and
we're going to keep speaking our truth. So we appreciate you again for watching. Like she said, just share so you can it might touch somebody else just because it may not be for you, but it may be for somebody else. So we'll just say share, and we will see you on the next episode
of PK Talk. Thanks, Josh, for coming out. You're a chosen one. We are a chosen
And you have a good one. Till the next one.
generation.